Hi, welcome to Deep Recaps. Today's film is the 2013 adventure comedy drama, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and enjoy the ride. Walter Mitty is a daydreamer who works at Life magazine as an inspector of photograph negatives. He also has a major crush on his coworker, Cheryl Melhoff. So, he finds her on an online dating site and, after some contemplation, sends her a wink. However, it does not work. So, he tries sending her the grapefruit emoji, which also doesn't work. Then, he tries dank memes, but to no avail. So, he calls the online dating service. The man on the phone, Todd, says that Walter skipped many sections, especially the been there done that section. Todd asks if he's done anything noteworthy with his life. Just then, Walter senses something wrong and jumps into a building. He saves a dog from a gas explosion and gives it to its owner, who happens to be Cheryl. Suddenly, an explosion occurs, and Walter Mitty snaps back to reality. He tells Todd that he tends to zone out sometimes. He then reaches his office, where his sister, Odessa, wishes him a happy birthday and gives him their mother's clementine cake. His colleagues inform him that their business has been bought out and many people are going to get fired. The managing director of Transition, Ted Hendricks, introduces himself and his stupid beard. Ted makes fun of Walter, and Walter makes fun of his beard. Everyone laughs, but you guessed it, Walter was only dreaming that. At the office, Walter peeps on Cheryl and dreams of himself as her Latin lover. Ted sees this and tries to wake him up by singing Major Tom. When this doesn't work, Ted throws a paperclip, and Cheryl sees this. Walter goes to his dimly lit office, where his partner, Hernando, shows him a negative roll from Sean O'Connell, the head photographer for Life magazine. Sean also sent Walter a present, a wallet with Life magazine's motto on it. Sean left a message for him, saying that roll number 25 is his best ever, the quintessence of life. When Walter checks the rolls, he sees that number 25 is missing. He then goes to the meeting, where Ted informs them that the current issue will be their last, and many people will be fired soon. Then, he reads a telegram from Sean O'Connell, saying that negative 25 will be the best fit for the cover of the final issue. He asks for negative 25 from Walter, who lies and says that it's being processed. Walter finally has the guts to talk to Cheryl. Since Cheryl works in photo accounts, he asks her for Sean's address. But Sean moves around a lot and has no phone, so Cheryl doesn't know either, but promises to check with another colleague. Later, Walter admits to Cheryl that number 25 is missing, which is why he needs Sean's location. Cheryl tries to help him by looking for clues in the other pictures. When she's about to leave, Walter shows her his creative side project. Nothing much, just a freaking gold statue. But if we've learned one thing by now, it's that Walter is dreaming this. Later, he and Odessa go to move their mother's piano, which their father bought for her when they were married. Odessa gives him an action figure as a birthday gift. Then, their mother shows them old mementos from when their father was still alive. Back at the office, Hernando shows Walter that one of Sean's pictures has a word reflected on the water, the name of a boat, Erkigsneck. Ted comes in and notes his toy. He says that this is no place for toys and tries to take it. They get into a vicious elevator fight, which then goes outside. They go full superhero and battle across the city. But then again, he's Walter Mitty. He's just dreaming. Just then, Todd from the dating agency calls him back and asks him if he's been anywhere noteworthy yet. Walter's answer? Phoenix, Arizona. Later, he and Cheryl go to the park while talking about the missing photo. Cheryl is a single mother, and her son is there skateboarding. As she talks to a colleague about Sean, Walter shows her son some skills on the skateboard. He is amazed. Cheryl says that her colleague last contacted Sean in Greenland. Before leaving, Cheryl says that Ted is a jerk for teasing him, and Major Tom is a song about going into the unknown. Walter goes to his office, but Hernando still hasn't found number 25. He thinks that number 25 is still with Sean. Walter imagines Sean beckoning to him. Filled with a sudden burst of inspiration, Walter goes straight to the airport and buys a ticket to Greenland, with Life magazine's quotes following him with every step. Walter arrives in not-so-green Greenland, where he enters a pub and asks about Sean O'Connell. No one knows him, but the bartender does inform him that they recently sent mail to the ship Air Kigsneck. Their conversation is interrupted by a drunk man. They get into a fight, but Walter notices that his thumb was one that Sean took a picture of. I guess Walter has a thing for thumbs. The man is the helicopter pilot who flies mail to the Air Kigsneck and says that Sean might still be there. Since the ship's radio is broken, Walter can't simply call them. The pilot offers to fly Walter there because he'll be delivering the new radio for the ship. Walter is concerned about the pilot being a drunkard and refuses. Just then, he imagines Cheryl there. She sings a song dedicated to Walter, Ground Control to Major Tom. Once again, Walter feels a burst of life calling out to him. He heeds the call and jumps into the helicopter. Drunk driving be damned. Truly shocked that he actually made that leap, he just stares in disbelief for a while. They reach the Air Kigsneck, but the helicopter will not be landing. Walter has to jump onto the lifeboat with the radio parts. Walter is scared, but the pilot urges him on. So, Walter jumps in the wrong direction. He loses the radio parts, which sink into the sea. As the lifeboat gets to him, he is attacked by a shark. But he manages to fight it long enough to be saved. On the ship, the captain informs him that Sean left for Iceland 4 hours ago on a seaplane. They have no way of making contact because Walter lost their radio. Walter then finds Sean's shoot itinerary and sees that Sean will be taking pictures of an Icelandic volcano tomorrow. The following day, they land in Iceland. Walter races the sailors to the bike, which he then rides to Sean's target volcano. On the way, Todd from the dating service calls him. Walter tells him all the crazy things he did and that he's now riding to a volcano. Todd is pleasantly surprised to hear this and adds it to Walter's profile. Walter's sure to get the babes now, so long as he doesn't die in a volcano or get eaten by a shark. Walter then starts dreaming of Cheryl and crashes his bike, so he runs the rest of the way. He meets a family and trades one of the boys' longboards for the stretchy action figure. The family then rush away. When Walter enters the hotel, he finds it empty and the owner hurriedly packing his things. The man recognizes Sean and says that he is taking a plane right now in the next town. For some reason, the owner tries to stop Walter, but Walter does not listen to him. Walter sees the town at a distance, so he prepares some rocks in his hand, which he uses to navigate the longboard on the way there. He arrives in record time, but the town is empty, and suddenly a siren rings. Walter has longboarded straight into Silent Hill. The hotel owner from earlier comes to him and says that the volcano is erupting. The man came back into the eruption zone just to save Walter. Now that's a hero. Just then, Walter sees Sean on top of a plane, flying towards the volcano. Walter and the man get caught in the ash, but they survive. Later, Walter gets a message from Hernando saying that Ted is firing him, so Walter flies back home. There, Ted fires him for not bringing -25. Hernando informs him that Cheryl was fired too. Walter goes to Cheryl's home, but a man opens the door. It's Cheryl's former lover. So, without even meeting Cheryl, Walter leaves the longboard and runs away. He goes to his mother's apartment, where he throws away Sean's gift wallet. He checks Sean's photo and realizes that the picture is of his mother's piano. Apparently, Sean O'Connell came to his home to meet him. Walter's mother had told him this, but apparently Walter must have been dreaming then. She tells him that Sean is in Upper Afghanistan, near the Himalayas. So, Walter listens to the calling of the world once again, and goes there. He treks for several days with some native mountaineers. They take him to a certain point, and from there, he treks alone. He gets a call from Todd from the dating agency, who says that Cheryl withdrew her account. He is amazed to hear that Walter is in the Himalayas, and adds it to his profile. Todd's being a nice guy, but he's doing some sketchy shit. As Walter talks to Todd, some random dude calls out to him. Well, goddamn, it's Sean O'Connell, finally. Sean is absolutely amazed to hear that Walter followed him all the way here. He invites Walter to sit with him as he looks at a snow leopard. Walter asks him about the missing negative, number 25. Sean reveals that the photo is inside the wallet. The photo was the actual gift. The wallet was just a gift wrapper. Walter tells him that the wallet is no longer with him. Sean is shocked to hear this, saying that Walter would have really liked the picture. He then shows Walter a snow leopard in the distance, but he does not photograph it, saying that sometimes, if the moment is just right, he does not take pictures. He just lives in the moment. This is a nice sentiment, but it's also dumb as hell. Walter asks what was in picture number 25, but Sean does not answer and goes to play football with some kids. Walter also joins them. On the way back to the US, later, the authorities detain Walter because he just came back from a politically unstable place. Walter landed in LA and he knows no one here, except for one person. He finally gets to meet Todd, who takes him out to eat. Todd tells Walter that he had 300 responses on his account in the span of 2 hours, all because of his recent adventures. Also, apparently, Cheryl never replies to any of her responses. Much later, Walter's mother sells her precious piano. Walter and Odessa are regretful, but their mother is actually okay with it. They get the check, and Walter's mother gives him a wallet to keep it in. His wallet. From Sean. Apparently, she saved it for him. Walter checks inside and finds number 25. He goes to his office, which is in full renovation mode. He gives number 25 to Ted, the one that Sean wanted for the cover. Ted is shocked at finally having it. Walter then asks Ted what Life magazine's motto is, but Ted is unable to say it. So, Walter says that the people Ted fired knew and believed in the motto. He says that Ted's job of downsizing is a difficult job, but Ted doesn't have to be such a dick about it. Good advice, honestly. Later, Hernando asks Walter what was in number 25, but Walter never looked. The two hug one last time before going their separate ways. Walter builds his resume, and now it has more in it than he could have ever dreamt of. He then gets an email from Cheryl's son with thanks for the longboard. He even sent a video of himself riding it. Later on, after Walter takes his severance package, he strikes up a conversation with Cheryl. He tells her about how he imagined her singing Major Tom to him, which got him where he had to go. Sounds like a euphemism to me. He tells her about the time her lover answered the door, and Cheryl says that he was just there to see his kid. Cheryl and her former lover are not together, so he then invites her to a play, and she accepts. The two of them go to check the last issue of Life magazine. They finally get to see picture number 25 on the cover. It's a Sean O'Connell dick pic. No, it's Walter himself, hard at work. The issue is dedicated to the people who made it. Walter and Cheryl are pleasantly surprised at this. As they continue walking, Walter holds Cheryl's hand and she smiles at him. This time, Walter Mitty is not dreaming. Life is always moving forward. It waits around for no one. Oftentimes, especially in the age of technology, it is difficult to escape the comfort of our own personalized bubbles. But comfort has a tendency to hold us back. Remaining stagnant will never lead to change, and change is the only thing that leads to living a fuller life. It is a simple matter to make up excuses for ourselves, to conclude that our friends, our families, our jobs are keeping us where we are, and sometimes where we are is just fine. But if we never challenge ourselves, never open up our minds to new experiences, then the only thing really holding us back is ourselves. Sometimes you've just got to pop on Major Tom, throw a dart at a map, and explore what it means to be alive. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications to see new drops, and leave a like to help support the channel. See you next time.